Hi everyone, my name is Mike Bryan. I'm happy to have here today Staci Barnett. She's the Community Service Representative from the Oaks at Bethesda and the Oaks at Northpointe. Staci, thanks for coming today.
Thank you, Mike. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Well, and as you know, we've been doing these interviews with folks for quite some time, and it was time for an update, and wanted to make sure that we had the latest information about the Oaks at Bethesda and the Oaks at Northpointe. But first things first, we already introduced you, but your role as a community service representative, what is that generally? What is your main role?
Admissions and marketing. I'm the one that goes to the hospital and does the on-sites, home visits, and assessments if needed.
Okay. And when someone is interested in possibly going to the Oaks at Bethesda or the Oaks at Northpointe, you're the typical first point of contact, right?
Absolutely.
And what's the address and phone number and email for each of the facilities?
So the Oaks at Bethesda is 2971 Maple Avenue, and the phone number is 740-452-3800.
Okay.
The Oaks at Northpointe is 3291 Northpointe Drive, and the phone number there is 740-452-3000.
And then what's the best email for you?
The best email is staci.barnett@theoaksatbethesda.com.
Okay. All right. And we talked about this before we were on camera here today, but the website at trilogyhs.com is the main website. And then they can just scroll down for community locations and find both the Oaks at Bethesda.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And there's a contact us form that is available there as well. Does that go directly to you?
It does. It
Okay.
comes to myself and the CSSs at both campuses.
Okay. And I know that there was the ability to do a virtual tour, which was very nice during COVID, but now I think it's better that they can come out actually and do a tour with you.
I love to get people in the campus and just show them, what all we have to offer.
And I know on the website they were showing the different types of care available, and there's a blog and reviews if they want to look at that, or the family wants to look at that. But can you describe generally what services are offered at each place?
Absolutely. The Oaks at Bethesda has skilled nursing and assisted living. For skilled nursing, we offer physical, occupational, and speech therapy. And then at the Oaks at Northpointe, we have skilled nursing, assisted living, and there's also memory care there, and we call that our legacy lane.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. And just generally the floor plan, can you describe? I know with both places, I always describe it to clients that when we're looking at privately paying or Medicaid, you can kind of draw a line down the middle of each building.
Yeah.
But can you kind of explain how that works? I know it's part assisted living, part Medicaid. Are the room sizes different?
They are, and there's differences in the rooms, I guess I should say. The assisted living rooms have their one large room, almost like a studio if you would, but they have the refrigerator, microwave, counter, sink. It's a walk-in shower instead of one that's open for wheelchairs like the health center.
All right.
It still works on the call-light system, so if there are any needs for assisted living residents, that call light still goes to each nurse's station, and then there's an aide and a nurse available to help with all their needs. And in the health center rooms, they don't have the sink and
it's not a studio type apartment feel for there. It's just more of a smaller room, but which is typical for skilled
they're not
nursing.
going to be in the room a whole lot anyway if they're there
Right.
for skilled nursing.
That's
so
right.
Our therapy team's going to be working with them all day long. So
now with the memory care, the legacy lane you mentioned, describe that. I mean, that's for folks who have cognitive issues, dementia, Alzheimer's.
Yep, and it is a secure unit. We treat that as a family. So the residents go back there, they're used to seeing the same faces on a daily basis. We try not to change that up a whole lot. Just don't want to cause any confusion for our residents.
Makes sense.
They have family style dining back there, and they all eat as a family. It's served just as you would from home.
Okay.
So they have all of the dishes in the middle of the table, and they're serving them that way.
Okay.
And it's really nice. So
That is nice. I know that's not available at every place.
no,
so
it's not.
it's good to have that. And I think you did mention previously adult day and respite stays are available as well.
Yep.
And so the family can keep informed and staff can keep informed. I understand there's a newsletter that is sent out monthly.
Yep, there's one sent out to the employees every month from our administrator and also to the family members.
Okay.
And it'll just say what big things we have coming up the following month.
Okay. Now, one of the other questions that comes up is, what about hospice or palliative care? Can residents have either one of those programs come in?
Absolutely. We work really close with all the hospice companies in Zanesville.
Okay. I know sometimes that's a popular misconception. They think they have to leave to receive hospice, and so that's good. All right. So again, we talked about. I think you mentioned this already. Actually, the occupational physical therapy and speech therapy is available. That's at both, right?
At both
facilities.
Campuses, yep.
And so, plenty of other things that are available there. Now, when a client looks at this and they decide that they want to come in and have a tour, again, they can just reach out to you directly, either through the website that we talked about before or a phone call. And how long does a tour typically last, just so they can kind of time that?
I'd say about 30 minutes, depending on what service line they want to look at. Sometimes I have people come in and they know we offer the full continuum of care, so they'll want to start with assisted living and end with health center, and that takes them through the whole campus.
Okay.
So that could be a little longer. I like to have people come in during lunchtime and they can have a meal with us if they'd like. So it just kind of depends on what they're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I failed to ask you about earlier, but when someone has a short-term rehab stay, you mentioned if they needed to come in for skilled services, everything is really already there for them.
Absolutely. Everything's in the room. The only thing they need to bring is clothing items.
Okay. So, let's say someone, they've looked at your information. By the way, this is, a typical packet, right, that they would receive from you that provides a lot more information, even more than what we have here today. But they'll receive that, and they've, let's say they've done the tour with you. At that point, they've said, yep, this is the place we want to go. Of course, they have to sign an agreement, and I know as with every place, the stack gets larger and larger. It's you can blame attorneys for that probably. But ultimately, they can take that home with them and review it if they need to.
Yep, look over it and call me with any questions.
Okay. So once they do that, what does move-in day look like?
Move-in day is pretty simple. It's a little different for each service line, I guess I should say. So typically, if they're coming skilled, they're coming from the hospital. Hospital sets up transportation. They come to us. We have all the orders from the hospital. So we reach out to our medical director, which is Dr. Dunmeyer. She reviews all those orders, and easy as that. If they are coming for assisted living, we reach out to their primary care physician prior to them admitting and get an H&P, med list, in order to admit. So
Okay.
Pretty simple.
Okay. And if they do have items that they want to bring in with them, I assume they can do that within reason.
Absolutely.
There's a certain amount of room that is available
we
there.
like them to make it feel like home.
Okay.
So.
Well, and one of the questions I usually get is, well, how can I pay for this? And that's certainly something you would talk to them about when they meet with you. But generally Medicaid, veterans benefits, just the pension benefit, and insurance coverage. Those are the typical ways that they're paying for things. So one of the other questions I'd like to ask folks: what special programs do you have? What are the things that you like to highlight?
I think our family style dining is perfect. Our leadership team is all hands on deck for all meal service, so that we are able to leave our aides and our nurses on the floor caring for our residents' needs. The other thing is our full continuum of care. If they go to assisted living, they know that they can stay there clear up to end of life.
Okay. And there was another program that you mentioned before, the Live a Dream program. Yeah.
Our Live a Dream is probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
If they've had a dream their whole life that they've not been able to do, we like to try to meet those needs and make that happen.
And I understand there's just recently a college grad at 103?
A 103-year-old graduate. So
that's good.
That was nice.
Oh, and the one last thing I remembered was a senior executive club. That's once a month. Describe what that is.
So Senior Executive Club, we have once a month. It's the second Thursday of every month at 2 p.m. Seniors from the community can come in and they can have a meal with us. Sometimes we have guest speakers. They seem to love bingo quite often. So
everyone loves bingo.
Everyone loves bingo. So, and we do prizes and everything with that, and they can just sit there and socialize with their friends. We have a few ladies that do cards afterwards in our campus, so it's even a nice little meeting area. So
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, again, I think this gives folks a much better idea of what to expect when they're visiting either campus. Again, I thank you for coming in today to do this, and for anyone out there watching this video, please be sure to reach out to Staci if you have any questions. So until next time, thanks again.